glad they had
all four just sunk. It was so
I was
soft out
disappointed.
there, in that field. You couldn't tell until you drove right out and just, you know, you couldn't see that it was wet.
Mhm.
That's good.
It was a grass field.
Yeah, Renee's coming to Rotary tomorrow to talk
Oh,
about it.
good. I thought it was a well-written article, which kind of told you what the plan was, the museum and the conference center side. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, there's no place for,
The girl I seen
because she
out there
does a
was
golf
fairly young.
course or golf.
Looked like she's in her
wherever it is.
20s or 30s.
Okay.
And when they're back to practicing in stores.
Okay.
So and she has a 10
Is this great?
no tights. Or the golf company.
Oh, the
Titleist.
sponsor.
Yeah, oh yeah.
See, if that was in the article, I didn't read down enough. 'Cause I looked at my wife and was like, 1.1 million, that's a lot of money. It really doesn't seem like enough for that size of a project to get me over that.
Well, I think she's getting a lot of it donated.
Yeah, okay.
But Titleist has done some golf clubs after her and
That's cool.
yeah.
All
Sponsorship.
right, you ready, buddy?
Yeah, I'm ready. You're
All right,
on.
you guys.
You're on.
Good evening. Thank you for attending the township trustee meeting. Let's begin with pledge to the flag and devotion. Call the meeting to order. 7:31. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we could gather in this place, Lord, and we just ask that you watch over all the family members of the folks here in this room as we're here now, and thank you for all the staff and the folks that work so hard to make Osnaburg a great place. And Lord, we just wish and hope for summer to come soon, and if you could for us, we'd love a salt shed sometime soon. Amen.
Amen.
Might as well pray. You know what I'm saying? All right, you guys. Do we have approval of the meeting agenda? Any changes or additions?
I want to in zoning talk a little bit about the meeting we had with the consultant last Monday night.
Well, I got something for that recycle bins. You want to do it under the fire? Or you want,
It doesn't matter. Road, fire. Yep.
I've got a little bit of an update.
Let's do it under fire because Dan's
Yeah,
got something to share.
I've got a little bit of an update on truck and salt shed. I'll have some updates on that.
All right. So truck and salt shed, we'll put that in road. Great. All right, good. And I don't have anything extra to add. So, all right, moving along. Approval of the trustee minutes from 3/14.
Trustee Hero moves to approve them as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. And approval of the treasurer report.
Trustee Griffith motions to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Hero seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Trustees, I stuck the permanent appropriations on at this time so that any moves we make from here moving forward,
Mhm.
I would have it all reflected in my reports. That if you ask me about, do we have money or stuff like that, I can do that.
We have a signature on that treasurer's report.
Which one? I'm sorry. There's a treasure.
Thank you. All right, fiscal officer Larry, permanent appropriations for 2022.
Trustees, what I gave you is a cover sheet. A quick look at that cover sheet. If you look at the total, it says $2,188,512.74. That's extremely high compared to last year, which was at this time $1,767,000 and $1,767,012.83.
So it's 400,000 more-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you look at your cover sheet, just a quick glance, if you look at America Rescue Act Fund, look at that 417,000.
There you go.
There's your big part of that pie wedge there. The other thing for appropriation wise, we had some carryover money, which won't reflect on that because that was all approved in 2021. Like the salt shed at 163,000, that is not on there, but that is already carried over. And the next pages you look at is a breakdown by what's called the line item funds in each one of those funds. So you can kind of see where I put that money and set that up. That can be moved in a jam under what's called the supplemental or reallocation, which you allow me to do up to $20,000 through our resolutions that we had as part of reorganizational meeting. I know that we've talked about some equipment, both at the fire EMS side and equipment in the road department. Also, our premium pays that you have all regulated is figured in on that $417,012.74. Right now, since we started with the American Rescue money, we've used $3,300 of that the last 3 months of last year and the first 3 months of this year for the fire department EMS as part of their premium pays.
3,300 each 3-month period?
No,
3,300
the whole
total?
time, the whole time so
Okay.
far.
So we've been pretty good.
So
on
that gives you an idea, and that's what I'm tracking.
Okay.
When they're fully staffed, I'm watching that number because
Okay.
I want to be able to ask you all to appropriate each year. So when we do make any purchases on equipment, I can then say that we have so much to stretch that out to the fire department, to set aside as part of appropriating it and to lock that in for at least, when we started that, you all agreed that we were going to go like to year in October. But if we want to carry it on for the fire department's sake, as long as we can, we have to have it all appropriated out by 2024. And then you can use it up to 2026.
Okay.
But after that time, it goes away unless something else happens and I'll have to figure something else out.
Okay.
Okay?
So do we need a motion to approve this?
Yes, you definitely do. And I'll have my total that I give you that you all sign for me, that I give to the county auditor, and I'll open it to that page. I put all your names on it ahead of time, so it's there, but you can go through any questions you may have for me.
So a quick question, talking about the new ambulance we're talking about and possibly a new road truck. Will those be purchased out of that American Rescue Funds, or is there different funding coming in?
Yes, good
Okay.
question. If you look at the last, I should say, the last part of the front cover where it says 100,000 in the road equipment
Yep,
and 75 in the ambulance.
yep,
Those are capital funds that have those funds in them that this year, we would normally, at the end of the year, put an additional 20 or 25,000 according to the budget in there. So they could increase by simply taking some money out of the fund. What I was going to do is take the portion of the American Rescue to make those balances all work for us.
got it.
So
So we're able to use some American Rescue Funds acts on the 417,000, and we also have the capital accounts of 175. Okay,
Yes.
great.
okay,
Great. So together we feasibly could make a new ambulance and a new road truck both happen.
yes.
Okay.
I did the math ahead of time in case you asked me. If you notice, the future fire truck has 0.
Yeah.
We have, I gotta make sure I can tell you, right? We have $250,000 in that capital fund. Last year, I was unable to put the 30 in it because we have repairs of 30,000 in that one tanker truck.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I wasn't able to ask for you all to do a transfer there. Dan could correct me on this, but I just heard that fire trucks, when I started in 2013, they were running anywhere from $500,000 to $600,000. Those fire trucks now are over $700,000 to $1 million, just to give you an idea.
Gotcha.
So I didn't have enough there to
So-
suggest to use any American Rescue money without cleaning us out and still having to dig money when we wouldn't have been able to do other projects
Right.
that you might want to do.
So just for a point of clarification, for this document in front of us for the appropriations, there's $250,000 in that capital fund.
Yeah.
We're just not putting any in on this round.
Say that again?
We're not putting anything more into that account on this
Yeah.
round of appropriations.
Not
Okay.
a part of appropriations, but you will when I write the budget this June and July.
Okay.
I'll ask you if you want me to move any amount of money. Right now, I can tell you, according to appropriations and where we're at now, I don't think I'm going to have any big lump sums of money unless it comes out of the general fund or one of the soft billing ambulance funds.
Brian, I see over here, we have a fund 2272, coronavirus relief fund interest. So are you tracking the interest on that separately?
That on your spreadsheet, I just mistakenly did not take that off. That's done and was done in 2021. There's
Okay.
nothing there anymore. The
So-
interest on the American Rescue money goes right into the general fund now.
You keep
Okay.
Yeah, it goes right in the
you
general
keep
fund.
that.
And you're allowed to do that
Whatever
now.
that money makes, you
Yeah.
keep for your.
I separated it out when we had the COVID, that fund at that time, because I wanted to see it, because I didn't know what we were going to do with it.
Right.
Because everything was coming at us so fast, I just created a line item and keep track of it. But on your spreadsheet, it's still there. It's why it's just showing zero, nothing there. If you look down at the gas tax on that spreadsheet, you're gonna see the $250,000 I had wrote up to appropriate, but off to the right is your encumbered balance. That 163,311 is from 2021. That's your salt shed money.
Okay.
That isn't part of appropriation because you already
That's
appropriated.
already sitting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
That was my question. I just didn't know if we were having to track the interest, and it should be that it goes to the general fund.
It will
So-
be tracked in the sub funds in the general fund. It just won't be called that. It's just gonna go in
Yeah,
there.
just to the general.
It goes to
Yeah.
the general, yes. One of the other things, trustees, that when you do these appropriations, you know, how we do our road programs, anything for the fire department, these programs that we do, there's, as you notice, you got 3 or 4 road funds, you have the fire fund, you have the 2 soft billing. Those combined monies are what I use to do maintenance. If we're gonna do chip and seal, if we're gonna do micro sealing, those are all calculated in. I don't spend every penny that comes in because we have to have at least a 20 to 25% carryover to start our next year. So you'll notice if you ever look at your treasurer's report at any time, there might be more money in there, but I don't wipe us clean because that's how townships go bankrupt, if they appropriate every single penny. There won't be nothing there to start up the new year.
All right. Do we have any more conversation on this, or should we make a motion?
Good.
Okay. Trustee Varian moves to approve the appropriations, permanent appropriations for 2022.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If I can pass this down for you, all I need on this spreadsheet, you'll see a place right here.
Yep.
Just sign there, and then I fill everything else, and I submit that tomorrow to the county auditor.
All right, seeing no public speaks, let's move along to the fire report. Before we start the fire report, Dan was willing to come tonight. Thank you, Dan. He's not on shift right now, so he's kind of here on his own time. So as soon as we get done with the fire report, you can run out here. Thanks for being here. We just a quick update. Amy's been teaching class on these nights, the last few meetings. Tonight's her last time to teach this class, and so we'll be seeing her a little more frequently. And then Mr. Ruskin also had something going on tonight as well. So, but we'll be seeing Amy here more regularly. So, Dan, go ahead.
Okay, so update on 249, the grass fire truck. The skid unit was put in and repaired and in service as of this morning.
Great.
We're gonna do an in-service with the members, just regarding the recirculating line. And everything was running and flowing good today.
And that pump showed up in the box, the correct one.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Engine 241, with that being an enclosed cab, has a rear heat control. And Captain Nelson contacted me that there was red fluid leaking out of the truck the other day. So we traced it down to the manifold block was leaking underneath the rear seat. We went to R&B's and he was able to find the part, but nobody had it available. We ordered it out of Cleveland, and it was replaced. The truck is in service.
Great.
So there's a shut off on it for the heater block, but it was still leaking by on the return side. So we had to add a couple gallons of antifreeze back in it, but everything is up and running on that.
Oh, good catch. So it wasn't all on the street.
Chief Parker, you guys have been advised regarding the garage door spring.
Yep.
Magic Door came out, looked at it, and the spring is ordered.
Was there an estimate on that spring?
They've not called us yet.
Not that I'm aware of.
We asked them to give us a number on it. So the fire truck's sitting in a different bay right now, just so they can get it in and out, but the door, we're gonna get the door down though.
Right. And on the heater valve, I've submitted a slip. It was just quicker to pay for it, and they billed it as tax exempt.
Okay.
So it was able to be shipped in, and Brian, you should have the paperwork. Or
I do have the paperwork, and I apologize for one thing, Dan. When I was doing this appropriations, I didn't get you and Amy a reimbursement ready. I think it was 90 something.
$91.
Yeah, $91.
Okay.
Our reimbursement fund has 2,000 in it for the fire, so
Okay.
I would automatically prepare that, but I did not get that prepared for you all yet.
So is that something we can go ahead and improve? So once you get it done, you can just go ahead and pass them on over?
It's already done. It's part of maintenance.
Okay.
You
We just need to
already
sign it.
approve it. It's under
Okay.
$250.
So they don't have to
Oh,
wait.
I did not prepare it in time for you all
Okay.
to sign.
Okay.
It may be part of your checks in between meetings, or
Okay.
I can get,
Okay.
I
Dan,
always
as
try
soon
to
as-
get.
As
I
soon
try
as
to
we get that signed, I'll
everybody-
get it to you. I'll find it. I'll get it to you. Hopefully quicker than the next 2 weeks, but we'll get moving on it. And then did you say you had the Tractor Supply and the Ace for the other parts was turned in on the account? The only one we owe you right now is the
I
valve.
believe Chief Parker still has the Tractor Supply, but
Okay.
like I said, it was
Great.
I think it was
It
$47.
was, it was under 250. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, how about the tower?
Captain Nelson, he contacted Canton Township to borrow their training tower for the month of June for fire training. The cost for the usage of the tower is $100. So we need a motion for that amount.
No, because we're getting it.
Gotcha.
What do you do with that?
So you're able to do search and rescue, you can do bailouts.
Do you smoke it?
So you're able to do quite a bit with it.
How big is it?
30-some foot tall once it stood up.
Does it come with the safety gear on it then, or do you?
We don't do any repelling out of
Oh, you
it.
don't?
It's kind of just up to each department on what they want to utilize it for.
Okay.
So any type of exterior work, we would be going to be putting ladders up and stuff like
So
that.
using your own ladders and everything. Okay.
And we'll have it the month of June, or is it
Yes.
2 weeks? Okay, June. Okay, great.
Well, Trustee Griffith recommends that, or motions that we pay Canton Township $100 for the use of their tower.
Trustee Pierce, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, before we move on to the dumpster, we'll talk about the dumpster in the back. I'm sorry, recycling bins.
That's
Oh, you're gonna do your report?
Oh, Striker.
Yeah,
Oh,
you want to go to the calls?
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. We have some more.
Yeah, I did have a question on the calls.
Okay. Since last meeting, Chief Parker has reported 33 calls, 26 ALS, no BLS, 7 fire calls. Mutual aid, we received 2 from Louisville and 1 from Sandy Creek on a grass fire. No calls turned over.
What is the CO on the response of the call? Like, it's a second call or refusal. There's
Call
two.
off.
Is that what that is? A call off?
I
CO?
just have, I don't,
Oh,
Oh, you don't have the back.
so if it's a CO, it'll be a carbon monoxide call for an investigation.
oh,
Oh, is that what that is? Because I hadn't
Carbon
seen
monoxide.
that before.
Yeah. That'd be
there are
carbon
there are 2 of them on that.
Yeah.
board. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we do have a multi-gas meter, it's a 3-gas meter that, we'll go ahead and verify.
And check. I'm surprised to see 2 DOAs on there too. That's kind of odd. I mean, yeah,
I hate to have 27 years on it, yeah, but for 33 calls, I mean, it's,
yeah. Okay. Not related to the carbon monoxide then. Okay.
All right, thank you. The mutual aid was 3. That's way down. That's looking a lot better. Great. Are we finding that our schedule is looking better up there? Have you been noticing that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And so have you gotten any feedback on that extra pay? Has anyone commented?
I think just with the 24-hour pay is really allowing people to be more willing to sign up. And then
Okay.
having the
Hero pay.
hero pay really,
That's nice.
I know that when you do go out on a call, I mean, it's definitely appreciated.
Yeah. I wanted to talk real quick about the new ambulance, and then we'll go into the recycling bins. We talked a little bit about the appropriations about ambulance, and I know we'll probably talk about the road truck too tonight a little bit. Is this something that we need to be making a move on because we're gonna wait a year for it anyway? Or,
Well, did we decide we wanted a new one or a
well, the numbers that came in show that the new one was about $25,000 to $30,000 more than a refurb. And that.
for total? Was that for outfitting it too or not?
Yeah, that was just, when you outfit it, it bumps it up either way, whether it's a refurb or whether it's a, if it's a new one. Those extra striker and the power cut, that's just bolted into both of them, so it doesn't really change much.
Okay.
I'd say you need to get a chassis ordered.
I feel like,
Whether, if you're gonna go with the refurb, whatever.
I feel like we need to get a chassis order regardless what we do,
Yeah, you're.
because I feel like we're gonna wait a year, before we, so I guess my question is do we need to be having more conversation? Do we need to be doing some executive session? Do we need to be communicating? I mean, same thing with the road truck, I'm sure we're gonna talk about, but I agree with you, Randy. I think if we don't order a chassis, we're gonna, they said the chassis could take a year and it could take 3 weeks to outfit it. I mean, it's quick when they get it,
Yeah.
it's quick when they get it.
So this company, I mean, are there other companies that also do the ambulances or we only have it from one company?
Lifeline is one of the most well-known ambulances in the area. There's been other outfits that have done remounts, and they've had a lot of problems with them. Lifeline, like Trustee Barron is saying, it's once you get a chassis, it is a 3-month turnaround. If they have a box in that's going to work for what.
But is this company here, the P Fund Superior Sells, the only company that sells the Lifeline?
Lifeline, yeah, there's for doing the remounts and the new chassis also. Chassis orders the whole new squad.
Right.
You have
So,
different
and
ambulance
these-
manufacturers,
these-
Braun, and different companies.
Yeah, but they're the only
Yeah.
company that is handling the Lifeline brand.
And the other thing we could do pretty quickly is, this is the company that reboxes, but both of these quotes are new. These are not reboxes.
Right.
So we could go to another company and say, we need a quote for a new one and give them the specs. Because
I'll bet there's gonna be a bunch of Reeboxes come in because there's a lot of
People
them.
use
because a lot of people are going to be buying
updating,
ambulances.
getting updated through this
Yeah, through
deal.
this deal.
So there's probably gonna be some pretty good ones that come. I think Jackson Township bought a whole new fleet or plane.
So, Perry bought some, we have 2 ambulances and an engine on order, and right now we're looking about 18 months, as of last October, for these, for them to come in. And because you're waiting on a complete new build compared to going a remount.
Yeah, right.
But like Trustee Peter was saying, the sooner you can secure a chassis, regardless of what direction we're gonna go, we gotta get the chassis.
So the chassis is separate from the.
Yeah. Even if you rebox, you're still going to put it on a new chassis.
Right.
So if you order the chassis and wait a year, you can make your decision in 6 months whether you want to rebox. And really, you're not going to know till the chassis lands, because the rebox they have sitting on the ground now is going to go to somebody else. You're waiting a year to see if there's something there that fits it.
Well,
So-
unless one came in and you could pay for it.
Yeah,
have
and
it
you can say,
ready,
I want that one. Yeah,
have it sitting there.
yeah, I want that rebox. Or we could say, hey, we ordered a 2023 Ford F450 4-wheel drive gasoline, and we're going to wait a year. When you have something that fits that, we want it. Or we tell them we want a new one. Well, we can make that call later. I agree. The chassis, we might need to move on sooner than later. So we don't have to do it tonight.
So we don't have to do the whole thing, just the chassis.
We just need to order a chassis.
And we are positive we're gonna go with the 4x4.
I'm pushing for that. I'd like to see that.
I mean, I think with our roads, I
think
know
with
different
our-
cases that you got stuck and stuff, but
I know the group as a whole would like to see a gasoline. I know out on the farm, and I'm sure all of us on the farms have multiple vehicles. Some are diesel, some are gas. I think some of the maintenance up there might be easier to run a gas motor. You know, that's what the other ambulance is. That one doesn't bother me as much, but I'd like to see a 4-wheel drive one. I think the
I'd like to see a little driver's training done on the crew on the 4x4.
Be no different than a grass fire truck on the driver's training.
Right, and we've had problems with that, so I think a little driver training might be beneficial for some of the people.
So I guess we can go get another quote from another company to try to compare before ordering, but I feel
But what
like,
part of this is the chassis then? Or is this just the chassis?
no, this is the whole build. That's the whole
Okay.
build. The chassis would be ordered, and then that's,
So we don't know what
we
that
don't know,
price of that
we don't know
is.
what the chassis is.
Are we
Trustee-
getting state bid pricing on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Trustees, what I need to know, to be able to use the combination of the capital funds and the American Rescue money is when you make the purchase, whether you're buying a chassis and then the rest to come afterwards, whatever, or like a road truck, once a decision made which direction you want to go, I just need to know, are we dealing with one vendor on each and what the total cost would be, whether it's now, we pay a portion for a chassis and then the balance later. I just need to know that so I can tie that money up because I have to have it in place by 2024. We have until 2026.
Six to
Hopefully it
spend it.
don't take that long, but I also want to know what I can have as a cushion of those funds to keep the premium pay going to the fire department. Okay? So I think I have to,
Right.
from the money side, I just need to know what the total, if you want to look at it, throw some numbers in there of the packages together, so I can see which direction to show you where we have the funds to do that.
The other thing that we didn't, I don't know, I didn't ask, maybe Amy did when he was here. These numbers are great to have now, but if we're a year more,
Or they're gonna change.
are they gonna change? And
It
how
says
bad
here
they
they're
are
gonna change. It says that delays in the chassis from the chassis manufacturer will result in extended delivery time. They're not gonna be responsible for any changes to charges or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
they told us straight up that they'll never guarantee when we're gonna get it, but I'm more worried about us going in and it'd be 25% higher. You know, I wonder
Well,
if.
the
you-
rest of the system could be depending on when it comes.
Right. So, and maybe the question would be to this builder, if we order a chassis now, how much money do you need to order that chassis? And then what are the
All I
breakdowns?
need to do is just to tie it up with a resolution to say that's what you're going to use that money for. And
Well, and the other thing we talked about too,
I wonder if you can go to like Ford or Chevy and get the chassis through a dealership at a state price.
Yes, when we purchased a grass fire truck, we went to Sarge Jones in Waynesburg, and they priced it out through state pricing.
You should be able to buy that chassis through them.
Yeah.
And then you can go wherever you want for the box.
If it's specifically
You would
for an
need to know
ambulance,
the
but I
lines.
thought we had trouble getting, or was it what we're trying to put on the grass truck the first time that came separate
Yeah, the grass, the
and
skid
it wasn't
unit
really
came
the
separate.
right?
kids, yeah, skid unit.
Okay.
And I think one thing to stay away from I know that Jackson, we've had a lot of issues with the depth system for the exhaust, so, if you can go with the gas engine, it just, it's easier on the maintenance.
Right.
All the way
Actually,
around with that.
I agree. I think that we need to stay with one dealer though. If we start buying the chassis from here and then try to go to another one and get it outfitted, we're probably better off just doing it all with one.
You're just buying a Ford or a Chevy or a brand. They're just gonna buy a chassis from somebody.
Yeah, they're just
You're gonna get
they'll do
marked
the
up
same
on it.
thing.
Just like we did for the dump.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, the chassis.
But I thought it was just all state bids.
It's not like you're gonna go to Stryker and it's gonna be a Stryker chassis. It's a Ford or a Chevy
Right.
or a Chrysler.
But I'm
whatever
saying-
brand.
But I wonder,
They're all locked in at the same state bid price for us. I don't think they can be
They
different.
have to go, from doing the road, they have to go buy it off of a lot somewhere. They're not gonna buy it unless this is different. They have to go to a dealer. A dealer, you have a certain
But I
dealer.
thought still since we're government, we get the state price, the state bid price on it. So it doesn't matter who we buy it from, it should be the same state bid
Right,
price.
but they can, hidden fees.
And I don't know, maybe they say we don't, if you go buy your own chassis, we don't honor that. I don't know. we didn't ask that question.
I can have Chief Parker check with the sales rep, Mr. Schaefer.
Okay,
Yeah, maybe on
So-
an estimate of
so
where they get their chassis or how they get it,
do we want,
when we might get it.
do we want more estimates than this one? We have to, don't we? We have to have 3?
Well, they ought to be able to give you a price for a refab box and a
That's
new
expensive.
box and then a complete unit. And then you go to a dealer and see what a chassis costs and they can put them together.
All right, so we'll make some notes for Amy here. We'll get some more information. And then maybe at the next meeting, we'll bring back some more state bid information, some more, questions like, can we order our own chassis and get that coming? Because we're worried about it being too far away. And we'll talk about it next time. Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Get some answers, then we can move forward.
Yep. All right, Brandon, do you want to talk about the recycling bins?
All right.
We're done. Are you done?
I could say, or just
He's got some
check with the
recycling
parking lot
bins.
issues.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I got some stuff to say. about
Okay,
that.
so the recycling bins, the parking lot is breaking up in front of the bins and it's breaking up in front of the fire hydrant.
Okay,
So I'm trying to get the number of somebody with these bins to see if there's any money available. I went and looked at some other ones, that we're the only ones that have them on a hard surface that I found so far. So, but that's fine. If we can't get any funds, my recommendation is to dig out the square where the recycling bins are and dig out a square in front of the fire hydrant and put number 1s in there about a foot thick and leave it go for a year and come back the next year and level it off and chip and seal it again. Let the base settle in and pack in.
Well, I had Dean Mosgrove out there today to look at that. And I asked him to work up a quote doing the whole thing out from the bins, straight over back towards the fuel tank. That's us getting somebody to fix those bad spots and then black topping the whole thing. And then I asked him to work up a price, just like you're saying, dig out around the bins, do that whole bad spot, and those other couple bad spots, dig them out, build them back up like you're saying, but leave it down about 3-4 inches. And then he could come in there with the paver and put the base, put like 3-4 inches of the base, the 57 heavy stuff in there, up right to the top, and then we could coat it with the Durapatcher and seal it.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is doing it all in 1 year is if that base packs down anymore, it's gonna crack that asphalt. That's why I thought if you put heavy 1s in there, it won't come out over the parking lot a whole lot. And then it should pack in over.
Randy, did you get an email from Steve? Is that what got this conversation started or no?
Steve who?
All right, so Steve Tharp. Now this is why I thought you were talking about this, 'cause I thought we all got this email. but it
Well,
looks like
Stu, I talked to Stu one day on the phone and he said there was some call in
So
about
it says,
from the drivers.
my name is Steve and I work at the Start Tusk Wayne Recycling District.
Yes.
We host a recycling site at the fire station. My driver stated that there are potholes developing and we are wondering if the township could put some gravel down to alleviate this issue. Any help would be appreciated. If you could let me know if that's possible, I appreciate it, Steve. So I have a phone number for him.
So he doesn't say what his position is there?
No, doesn't say his position.
Stu told me that they had called in and
They had called
I
up
was
the
close
message.
by, so I
Pretty much
just
what you
ran
just
out
said
there
there.
and looked at it.
And that's why we thought we'd start trying to get somebody to look
Okay,
at
I
the
assume, yeah.
situation.
Got it. Okay. I have a phone number of the Steve guy. It looks like a cell phone.
Now, if you want to send it to me,
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but
What do you think about that?
If you put down like you're saying though, and leave that just rough like that, it's gonna be, you're gonna have problems when it comes time for plowing, keep plowing and plowing that and trying to plow all that parking lot out. You're gonna dig down into that stuff.
Well, or
It's gonna
even,
catch.
or even let it sit till fall and come and hit it towards the end with the asphalt. It's just if you hurry, you put that much fill in there and then come back and.
I was gonna say-
You're
You
gonna
have to
get-
have it, you have to put it in there and compact it.
Well, I'm just trying
gotta
to keep,
tamp it.
I'm trying to keep the road budget from
I
getting
know,
stripped.
I know.
That would come out of the general fund. Any repairs.
Dan, what have you found up there at that site?
I know, Randy, I believe your dad was here whenever we had to do repairs to the back lot. And it was brought up to contact, the
It's
recycling.
at the Tri-County Solid Waste District. They're supposed to have.
I'm
some
gonna
grant funds.
contact them. Well, they might come through with some serious
Yeah.
funds. I don't know, but I said, I tried to get, Chris Vincent was the one that was working on that last, and then I haven't got a hold of him.
I thought they were, back when we were all talking about that.
He had a guy. he
I
was
thought we
talking
were
to.
supposed,
He
they
did,
said
but
they
they
were
ran
going
out of
to maybe
funding.
help.
They ran out of funding and they said, come back to us next year, because each year they get a small amount. I don't know their year
I
cycle.
know he said. they
Yeah, I
were
don't
trying to
either.
help.
And I don't know who it was he talked about.
I'm sure I'll get a hold of him in the next couple of days, but his father's not very good shape, so that's probably might be part of it.
You know, Randy, with putting those ones in, you know, were they gonna be just where the dumpsters are sitting, or how far out would it come out?
If you look out to where the driveway bends, that, it's, everything's good from the corner of the
See the
driveway.
catch basin there and there?
Can you see
You just want to
Yeah,
come,
I can't
stay on
see
this
through
side
too.
and come over and cut a big
No,
square.
let's see if we're
We
out.
We wanted to have it back far enough, so wherever that base is,
That's his info.
down those and pick them up, the whole front.
Steve's standing in front of the TV.
The problem with those, putting a big one,
I'm like,
you have to worry about people tripping over them.
That's why if you'd have to leave them down. From here, this is all good. There's nothing
Yeah.
bad here. The fire hydrant's right here. It's a little, this is getting soft right in here. And then there's some issues right in here.
around that other catch basin, but I think I can fix that.
Right.
It's two big places right there by
This
the
isn't
hydrant.
terrible. This
Yeah.
is starting to run up.
And that over
And
there.
this is, if you come back to here, you got the whole truck.
Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, the
Exactly.
truck's tearing it up, obviously.
Right. But you want to make the pad big enough so when
That
they
big
pull up
heavy
there and
truck's
pick
tearing
up
it up,
those,
right.
the whole truck's on that whole pad.
Oh, okay.
Not just up where the front tire is.
This, in my opinion, this is worse than this right now. This is worse than this. If we get it in motion to get money, we could doctor this up and get by for a little while. This will probably calm down when it dries out in the spring.
And it's gotten wet back there
Yeah.
since I've been up there.
But before I would go through and put more chip and seal or asphalt in here, this has to have some base put in, something to do.
The whole parking lot there really isn't that thick.
But the rest of it's in pretty good shape.
I know.
It's got life left in it. That's my opinion. So I guess I talked to solid waste district, we can't do anything.
Yeah, let's talk now.
Yeah, and if they say that it comes available like in the fall or something, maybe we can just fix it for now a little bit and wait.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep, because we can't go dumping 50 grand in there, we're not gonna have.
No,
All right, if you want to contact, that'd be great, Randy. All right, one last thing for fire, then we're gonna let Dan get going. Striker maintenance contract.
At the last meeting, trustees, I don't remember, Tom or Amy was here. It was
Tom was here.
Tom was here. A question come up about having a contract with them over these LP 15 units, like where they'd have a maintenance contract.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
And you all had asked me to look into pricing, what we spent with them and what our contracts were in the past. So I went back to 2018 and I just jotted these down. Some of these years we did have a contract and some of them we did not. Some of them were on the COTS, some of them were on the LPs or cabling. And that's why I wanted to have Dan here in case there was a question. But 2018 COT repairs, just COT repairs, there was no contract, was $3,448.94. I don't think this contract, this maintenance contract would have covered that because that was on COTS versus the cabling for those LP 15s. Okay. So that's how much we spent with Stryker. 2019, the LP 15s, we did an upgrade and a replacement cables. There was no contract, but it was $1,790.95. 2020, we did have a contract, which was $536.48. And it says an LP 1000 replacement. I don't know what that is, Dan, if you could help me on that. But it was $2,420.70. So in 2020, we spent $2,957.18 for a total.
Okay.
In 2021, we did have a contract, 565.48, but that's the year that we got those chest compression units. We got 2 of them, which are COVID money paid for. Plus we purchased a cot. That total was, the grand total, I think here, I didn't add them all up.
We had 30 grand in that
Yeah,
cot.
well, one of the chest compression was 29,900, but it came with some other things, and then the second chest compressor come in with 23,334.
That's right.
So you got 2 of them, but you did have a repair on a cot in the middle.
Okay.
But we did have a contract in 21 for $444. So I don't know what the contract is actually helping us on it, because we still have to make purchases for additional.
You gotta do repairs, but it comes down to liability,
Is that, that's good.
ultimately. As we're going through, we can show that, our monitor is up to date on, either update that was calibrated or everything is working to manufacturer guidelines. If somebody,
Is that for the chest compressions or the cot itself?
so that was where the LifePak 15s are the cardiac monitors.
Okay.
Then the Lucas machines are the compression devices.
So it covers both of them or just
No.
the
I think it's just covering the LP 15.
The heart
And the LP 100 will be the AED that was replaced.
Okay.
And I know Tom brought this stuff in. I just kept it here so he could have it to pull it back out, but the,
Yeah, he gave us some prices on a couple.
So if we go with a new ambulance, we have to get new cots. Do we have to get new monitors too then? So the monitors will still stay. So we're really looking on the policy for the monitors.
Correct.
I'm not sure what we were looking at, but I wrote in the minutes, the quotes were from $400 and some for a contract, or up to $1,500 a year for contracts for the LP 15s. That's what I
I
had.
thought the 1,500 did all the additional.
I don't think it does anything to do with cots or
No.
Lucas machines. I think it was all about that LP, those cablings for the heart monitor, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, not being involved with the contracts and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but in case there
I
was a
think
question, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were doing some testing. They don't do the testing on the other policy.
Yeah.
So the higher policy is because they're doing testing and coming in and checking things.
Yeah, because they come in and test while they're there, then they can do some minor things, part of the 1,500. If you didn't have that 1,500, then you would get additional bills where they come back or go order or whatever. Sometimes they sound like they had it, the way Assistant Captain Ruskin or Chief Ruskin had said that if they have the part, they can fix it right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't want to let it sit too long, if we need to follow up with that, because it sounded like whether it's a savings or not, we need to do it to keep the equipment up to snuff.
I would say Chief Parker's gonna be here to the next meeting. I can let her know, that way, she can give you guys all 100% information.
That sounds good. That sounds good. All right, we're gonna table that. We're gonna talk about it next meeting and we'll make a decision. All right, Dan, anything else for us?
I don't believe.
Thanks. Hey, thanks for your help
Thank
on
you.
the trucks and getting them all fixed up.
No problem.
Appreciate it very much. Okay, moving right along, cemetery report.
Sexton Shear called me today and talked to me. He's going to be going out of town through Sunday. He asked me to cover for him, but he would take and field all the calls or set anything up. He just asked me if I could be there. I said I will, and I'll volunteer Stu if I can. No, I told him I would do in case we had a open and close or something need marked out. I can go get it marked out, and he'll contact Sonny and get everything else lined up for us. I didn't have anything else. I asked Ryan if he wanted me to say anything. He just said he plans on starting a cleanup here in April of where they clean up all the old decorations, get it all custom ready. As of right now, he wanted to see how much money we had to spend if we're going to pick some trees that need trimmed or things that need done at different cemeteries. I will update you on the when Bridget was in, when the cemetery at Kuntz Cemetery got surrendered to us by the church, the paperwork, I needed some additional paperwork on the quitclaim deed. And when I went up to do that a few weeks ago, I wasn't able to get the transfer complete. But she since then has gotten me everything I need from the attorney, all the papers drawn up, and I plan on doing that tomorrow.
Great.
So, Koontz Memorial, that cemetery will need some work in it. I don't know how much we'll have to do this year, but I know that Ryan wants to look at the whole picture and see what we could present to you all. I know the budget this year in the cemetery, we only have about $4,000 to spend throughout all those cemeteries, and that goes real quick on any projects because we spent money at Wildwood with that. So when he gets back, we'll work on that to present to you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on to the road report.
Or
Oh,
I got
sorry.
a question about
Yeah.
this. Maybe you said and I didn't hear. How many times do they come out for this?
For the Lucas,
Well, it's got all four of these. How many times do they look doing preventive maintenance on it? Is it every 6 months, once a year?
I don't think they're doing preventive maintenance. I think the current policy just covers if we have repairs.
Well, it says check all batteries and battery
Right.
pins.
Oh, that's
I
what
think
they
for the
want to do.
service-
No, I know, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, for
How
the
many?
service
How many
agreement-
often are they looking?
For the
at
service
it?
agreement, they come out.
Once a year?
I don't know.
I think that's all it is, Randy.
That's what I'd like to know is how often it is.
I'll add that to my list for Amy.
All right.
I'll add that. How many times? All right, road report.
Good evening, everybody. If the trustees have looked over the road report, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
2 pages. Woo-hoo, baby.
Just to let you know, I did order another 100-ton of salt this morning.
Are we out?
No, we got one more bin there, but I'm not taking a chance on being down to one bin and be empty with everything. And we're not close enough, I forget. Brian, do you remember where we're at, how close we are to that 800 or 600?
I would have to look, but we're I think if you order another 100-ton or so, we'll be real close.
We'll be real close. You have to be so close to what
Yeah, you should be about 600. You were like 510 or
You can be
something last
80% of
Yeah,
it.
that should get you close.
We should be close enough with this 100, I would think so too.
What does it mean making signs for old salt bins?
We are going to be turning those bins around since the salt's coming out of there. And I'm gonna have one that the 9s go in for the Durapatcher, one for the 304, one for grit, especially the 304 and the 9s, keep them out of the weather. That 9s, that little teeny bin that we have there, that hoop building, you can only get a semi-load in there. So I'm turning those around and using those. I already cleaned the one end bin up closest to the little hoop building there for the 9s. So I can get 2-3 truckloads, semi-loads of 9s in there because we're gonna go through a bunch this year. And I'm still waiting on them. Oh, they haven't made any yet.
So what kind of sign did you make?
We just made signs and put them up at both each door, so there's no
Put on a
confusion.
piece of wood or something?
No, we used old signs, street delineators.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm
Turn-
wondering, you were
Turn
making
them
the
around
sign.
backwards and
Okay,
we painted on them real nice, made the
okay.
numbers on there pointing down.
So you guys are in the tow truck business. You pulled out Minerva grass truck. What
Yeah,
happened there?
yeah, I was just heading home that day and I got a call from Dale and they were out there trying to
Okay.
fight a grass fire there on Sendell. And,
Gotcha.
which our grass fire truck was down.
Right.
So they called Minerva and Minerva came up there, but they made it about 75 feet off the person's driveway out in the field. Beep, went down.
Okay.
So I took the backhoe out and just pulled it back out.
Oh, you took the backhoe.
Yeah,
Got
now you couldn't back the truck out where they were.
Got it. Got
Pull
it.
them back out.
All right.
Yeah. Wider tires on that.
Yeah.
Kept me on top. Oh, we got I got a call from Lumpos today from Dave. The machine is in the garage out here. It's done.
In our garage?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They called, they didn't even call me and tell me the parts were in. I just called him at the beginning of last week and he said, or the week before that, and said that it would be at least till the end of the month before they'd probably see it, but he called today and said,
Come get it.
come get it, it was done. I thought he was just gonna say it, he got the parts in. So that's a good thing, we got it back. And it was less than what the quote was,
That's good.
a little bit.
It's a good thing for
I
the
think the
winter.
quote was 3,400 and something, it was 33 something, 3390 something, whatever, so, yeah. We picked that up late this afternoon. I want to go to new business? Or are you guys
Go
still
back
looking?
to, you measured the road with dart from 2020 then?
Yeah, he came out and went around and measured the roads that I think I want to have possibly chipped and sealed on the program this year.
Okay.
I doubt if we'll be able to do them all, but we can always drop them off if need be.
Did we turn in to the county engineer on how much salt we wanted?
Not yet. We
I
were
was
just
talking
talking.
That's part of what it's on your agenda.
Yep.
I need to know that. I think that's due April 1st according to that, but I had it here.
Oh,
You mean having that figure how many tons in?
I figure we should be at 900 each year,
Yeah.
because if you're 80% under,
Yep.
or at 80%, that's 720 tons. You can always go over if you need
That's
it, 11 or 1,200 tons.
They don't care if you go over, they just don't want you to be short.
Yeah.
I thought there was a max you could go over too.
I don't think so.
According to the
They want
rules,
you to buy salt.
it's when you're under.
When you're under, they go after you.
Because they want to,
They want to
yeah,
penalize
it's
you.
when you're under.
All right,
If
let's.
you're under and you don't have anywhere to put it, and then they
Yeah.
charge you for the salt
Because they
you
have to
bought.
take it.
Yeah, you can't take it, you're gonna pay for that and a rental fee.
Stu, why don't you go down through your new business items there?
Okay,
Then we'll jump back over to the main.
Marlboro, I was wanting to, I need to buy pipe. I need 3 sticks of 30-inch and 6 sticks of 12-inch. And that comes to $3,030, the quota that I have.
What are we doing with all that pipe?
The 30-inch is 30 feet of it, or 60 feet of it. 30 feet's going for Mitty, the culvert we talked about for Mitty, and the other one's on Slater. And then the 12-inch is stuff I just need here in case I do driveways,
Okay.
because we hardly
So the
have
30 inch
anything
is
out
what
there.
we're using.
Um,
The 30 inch is all for us.
all for us to do those 2 culverts, because they're both 30, so we were able to,
That's a big chunk of it, isn't it?
yes, that was the biggest chunk.
Yeah. Do you think they have the pipe?
She, when I talked to Marcy and Scott and Em and Mike, they said they did. So,
They mentioned the first of the month, the price was going
yep,
up.
it's going up, so we wanna be able to get it here. Probably going up 10% or so, they said it's gonna be drastic again. They said it's just crazy.
So you want approval for that purchase?
I would like to have an approval so I could get that before the price goes up, and then we don't get it at that price.
Well, I'll motion that we purchase the 30 inch and the other 12 inch or whatever that size was from Marlboro Supply for $3,030.
Trustee, oh, sorry.
Trustee Pure, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Spear Springs.
Superior Springs, we took the truck up back here, and that was in the
Which truck?
truck 202, the Chevy, 3500 Chevy.
The newest one.
We took it up back there in the fall, and had Ken look at it at Superior Springs. Those springs are shot. That's why this thing's sagging so bad when you put the trailer on there, or anything for that matter, put anything on the load in the back of it. He said it needs new springs. He said the helper isn't gonna help that or adding one spring. I think these guys probably haul pretty heavy loads on the back of that thing at times in the oil will
Oh, I'm
come.
sure.
We good on the money for the springs, Brian?
Yes.
Trustee Bureau moves to get new rear springs for the Chevy dually at a cost of $1,627.46.
Trustee Varian, second. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
The that's transmission fluid. That is what has to go in the, bless you, in the Allison transmissions for both the big trucks, dump trucks. When I was back there in the wintertime, mine started to slip and we changed fluid and filters and everything. We were told that the Wolf's oil, synthetic, fully synthetic, was supposed to be equal to that. It's not. I've talked to a couple different people already since then. They said if it does not say on the jug that it will handle for Allison, and Allison isn't on that. I've talked to several different other mechanics. They said if you don't keep that transync in it, what it's supposed to be in it, that they'll slip and it'll burn the transmissions up in them.
So is your plan to get this and then drain and start over?
Well, if I can get 10 gallon of it, that's enough to do. It takes about 9.5 to do both trucks. About 4.25 gallons.
You have filters too. Or you're not
No, I'd have to get new filters.
Yeah, but that's under the.
Now, Brian's truck hasn't been changed for a long time. It has the right oil. Mine's the one that doesn't have it in it. We changed it when it was slipping. Randy, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And it did help, but it's not the right oil. And we don't want to keep going with that wrong oil in there.
Right. Trustee Varian moves to approve $370 to Western Branch Diesel for tranny fluid for the Allison trannies in both road trucks.
Trustee Griffith, seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next thing is Orient Equipment. That's a company up here in Canton that we always get the wafers, the brushes for the street sweeper, sweeps the roads. It's way down. I know I'm not going to make it through the spring here going out and brewing all these roads I've got to fix. And I'm going to have to get another set of bristles from him. The new quote just the other day is $753.
When that's bristles, is that like just around the whole thing?
The bristles come and you have to tear the old ones off of a big tube, metal tube.
Slide the new ones
We have to
on.
tear it apart off the machine and slide them all off, and you gotta put them back on a certain way. Yeah. The new style here, he says, it doesn't have the plastic and then a steel bristle and a plastic. They're all intermixed together now.
So Brian, how are we on the repair?
I only have to do this like every other year, buying those.
Well,
It'll go for almost a year.
Stu has been mentioning these things to me, and part of our 4 funds in the road, I have like so much in for fuel, so much in for 9, so much for Durapatching. I'm okay on any of these things because these are all part of the usually getting started up to get your road program going and everything. It's things that need to be done. You got to get your equipment ready. But only thing I worry about is if we get, we will have to go and really run it tight once we get going with committing to chip and seal and micro sealing, because once we commit to that, then I'm going to be Mr. Squeaky about that,
Trustee Pure moves to buy wafers for the sweeper from Orion Equipment 753.
Griffith, seconds.
All those in favor?
Thank you. Okay. Next. Auto supply. We usually go up and get the 15-gallon jug of the green stuff that we use to clean the trucks and stuff when we wash them. Like it broke down Brian's truck on Sunday morning and blew a hydraulic or a high pressure line over and cut the whole inside of the.
For the record, when he says Brian's truck, that's not my truck. That's the road truck, Brian Garrett.
Yeah. Yes.
Trustee Varian moved to pay Ohio Auto Supply $234 for 15 gallons of J30 green stuff.
Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, the next thing
He's spending money days. Go ahead.
is, ho, ho, ho.
He's going through it, isn't he? Wait till I say no.
You guys go. Keep going. Keep going.
The next thing, and we don't need this right away, but I called Eugene from Snow Wheel Systems. That's our wheels for on our plows, them big wheels.
Big wheels.
You remember your daughter ran over.
Yeah, the one that Henry lost.
Henry lost.
We lost the big
He
wheel.
totally damaged
Oh, the
your
whole
car.
thing is,
Oh,
yeah,
gee.
Becky ran over it.
Yeah.
Punched her wheel pan and, remember that? Yeah. Okay, so anyways, I called him and priced 2 new wheels. Everything has gone up so much. Now, he says he can't even get these anyways, but he put me down on the list to order 2 for us today. He says that he probably won't get any of them. He's got a back order of 1,500 of them.
Oh, gosh.
He usually gets 150 a month, every month, and he's been having trouble getting them, and they've went up. Last year, we got 2 off of them, and they were 124 a piece. That was 248. Now they've jumped clear up to 460. They went $212. So it's $106 each they went up.
That's a good sign for us that we should be looking out in the future here of anything that we think we might need, because we're gonna wait a long time to get them.
I
You're gonna be
know,
lucky
and
if you
that's-
get them by the next time it snows.
Well,
next-
exactly, and that's
next
why I
winter.
worry even about a lot of this stuff, ordering a lot of this different stuff. You don't know if you're gonna get it or not. Just like the stone, some stone is getting hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
But anyways, that total was 460, and then there's roughly $65 for shipping.
By the time they
So
come
that'd
in,
be
the
around
price might be
5.
different.
By
By the time he's able to get
And
them.
he mentioned that, he said it could be different. I mean,
Down.
from now clear to the end of the year.
Sure, it'll change.
Yeah, so you're
But I'm
good with
just
the
letting
one.
you guys know, we're on the list.
So that you ordered
with-
2. The question
What,
is,
2?
is 2 enough? If we're gonna wait a long time.
Well, 2 should be. We just put some
You
good,
put 2
one good
ones.
one on his, and I have pretty decent ones on mine. Those would be the backups in case we had any problems. That would be about 525 with shipping. So I'm just letting you guys know that. We don't have to okay that at this moment, but
I would suggest putting it into a resolution so we tie that money up, because even if it comes in the fall, I want to see it on my grid.
Okay.
So I know where we're at.
All right.
525.
520.
yeah, 460 for the 2 wheels.
Then ship.
And then about roughly $65 he was saying for shipping.
So
Trustee Pirro moves to order 2 snow wheel systems not to exceed $525.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And then,
Another 10,000.
yeah, I'm just asking for another 10 grand.
Well, I'll tell you, trustees, one thing with being in the office, Stu comes to me all the time, and when I'm working off of temporary appropriations, I tell him to hold off until I get permanent in place, so I can really take
Yeah.
a good picture.
Oh, sure.
And these are things that I know we'll
Been hanging
need.
on to some of this
It's a
stuff.
consistent thing every year. We usually buy something like any one of these things.
Right.
And he's been holding off for about 3 months on it, so.
So there's no real conversation about the dirt patcher. We just need a PO. We just need a
No,
motion to get it
Durapasture should be ready to go.
ready to go.
This
Okay.
is just operated.
It's operated. Trustee Varian moves to approve a purchase order needed for the dirt patcher of $10,000.
That's for the
Trustee
RS2.
Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
RS2. All right.
Our next thing was about over here on Osnaburg Street.
I put it on the screen.
Oh,
And
okay.
they got it on their computers. If they look on their mail, I put a picture there of that same picture.
There is, these are catch basins right here.
Let me see.
So right about here, along the edge of the road, is a sewer lid. It's not sewer, but it's drainage. There's culverts that are dug underneath here, come right down through here like this and kick out right here and right here.
There's a
And
left
up
side
here,
and
they've
right
been
side.
digging on both sides right here. You can see their right of way.
This is
This
the
is
This is
railroad.
all the railroads
This is
right
all
away.
the railroad.
Okay,
This is Wheeling, Lake Erie.
okay.
Well, this lid here has had water pushing up out of it and running down across the track right here.
Hmm.
And Lake Erie, Wheeling called Stark County, and Stark County called me and left us a message, which me and Brian was working on this over the weekend, trying to get a hold of people and talk to them. But when Fiscal Officer Lowry brought this up on the screen and we started looking at it, and he showed where their right of way is, we have no right to be doing anything inside this line on any of this stuff. That's theirs.
So they're wanting us to fix the culvert.
Well, I went out after work, after I had left here, and drove up there to look at it again. It's not running out anymore. It's receded down. It's down in there. They was here back about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. They were out here with a track hoe. Me and Brian Garrett drove past on 30 one day and seen them.
Where were they digging
And
up?
they were down in here digging, cleaning this out, getting all this trash out of there. We think something got sucked in and come down through here and plugged up between here and where the end is right here.
And that's why it's
Because it's forcing it up out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think they did something and got stuff loosened up there.
That
But
makes
it was a
sense.
lot of water laying up there above.
Yeah.
Because all the water comes down both sides of the track, plus we have our ditch right here that kicks in right there. Plus this ditch, it runs a lot of water out of the brickyard, comes down here underneath the road and kicks out right here. So,
And you see where the brickyard is.
yeah.
They've been doing a lot of work. I had, my curiosity, I went up there. They've been digging from literally here all the way down to 44 on both sides.
Maybe it
opening it.
opened up. Finally.
Yeah.
Once they
But
got,
the pipes are so plugged with stuff.
and
Yeah.
those pipes too, trustees, just as
We
a
didn't put
look,
those in there.
those weren't put in by township.
We didn't allow to touch anything around that
That's,
railroad
that's
track.
all like something the county or the state did. To give you an example too, if you go up there to look at this bird's eye view of this, it looks like this is far away from the edge of 30 to those edge of that track where they're rooting around. I bet you it's only from here to that wall.
Yeah.
It's in the right of way of the state and of
Yeah,
their
they
own
crisscross each other there.
Yeah.
On our road.
Right.
And I know from back when Lee was here, when we dealt with them and fixed the railroad track with Blacktop, I mean, anytime we come around that track, any of our crossings in our township, we had to call. And I even have the number to this day, Casey O'Connor. And we had to let them know
You were working by the tracks.
what day we was gonna work on it, so it wasn't a day they come down through there with the trains or just checking the tracks.
Right.
And had to get their okay, because we ain't allowed to touch anything around it.
Gotcha. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I
Wait and
mean,
see if it goes- if it
it's
fills
not
up.
running out of there now, it's receded.
Yep.
I told Stu, it looks like they knocked something loose,
It
but
ran-
then when they were cleaning to the east of it going towards 44, they didn't have it quite cleaned up to that clean out. I said, whether a suck vac truck from county or state come in there or something cleaned it out.
And try to suck some of that out of
It
there.
would just maybe
pipes
start
are-
brushing through there.
Yeah, those pipes have filled up with, sediments and grime and grit and stuff from the roads and the ditches.
All right, mid-A culvert.
All right, midi culvert. I finally we found the kid's name, I should say the guy's name, Todd Williams. Got a number, called him. I called him last week. He's pretty sore about the whole situation because where his property is right here, where that culvert goes under the road, is the saddle. And there's three sides.
I got it up on the screen.
There's three sides there. From that huge field comes this way, and both sides,
Just by
everything runs to
Just by
that.
Scott Sanders. Is that
Yes.
what this is?
Scott, yeah, Scott
Yeah.
Sanders
Yeah.
farm area right here,
And this
Right.
this guy is behind Scott, right?
right here beside.
Right beside, yeah,
Okay.
more or less.
Okay.
Now, all the water from these fields come down and go underneath right here, and everything from both sides comes down right here, and everything goes back through his property, comes right through his property.
Is it a creek?
It's a wetland.
No, it's just wetland from runoff.
See all that whole area where Stu will point
That's
right in
all
there?
cattails.
That's like cattails and swamp.
The only dry part of property he really has is this like right here.
That piece of property's been for sale for months.
And complaining, I'm not gonna get into all that, but he complained about how everybody's water's running and we can't help that. It's your property and it's where it
It
sits.
needs to go to soil and water.
They won't do anything.
Yeah.
They kicked it back to us. I've already talked to Sarah, had her out there, looked at it last year.
But I'm saying, once it becomes a wetland, I
Well-
don't know that he can destroy it.
No,
Me and Fiscal Lowry got to talk to Jason
it's
Manson
Stark County.
from Stark County Engineers. And he said the only way that they could go in here and do anything is if it was a dedicated ditch.
Right to the property.
If it was on the records that it was a dedicated ditch, they have the right to go in there and clean that out to keep the flow going, but it's not a dedicated ditch. And he pretty much told me, if we're not willing to go down through there and ditch that out and clean it out for them the whole way to this creek,
840 feet.
right there's the creek. Yeah, 844 going on a straight line from there to here.
We had this conversation with Otarma before, and we don't have coverage to go on private property.
No. And that's pretty much what he told us. Unless that's a dedicated ditch, we have no rights. If that guy says he don't want us on his property, we can't do nothing.
Even the county.
Even the county. Yep.
Because we were thinking maybe they would help Stu.
The county looked it up in that big drainage book down there.
He was on the phone with us and took time and got it on the computer and everything, and he checked it. He said it is not a dedicated ditch.
Then what he offered, Stu, was to bring out their surveyor just to
Yes.
see our designated area we can work in, so we could get our culvert in.
Yeah. I talked to him today, to Dan again, Brian, and he said we just need to send him a little email showing or telling the parcel number, since we don't have an address. And he'll come out and survey both sides of the road so we know exactly where we can work
The
Yeah,
owner-
so what,
without
why,
getting on the properties.
why are we trying to put a culvert in
Because the
It's
road's
defaulted.
been breaking down on both sides.
then? Okay, so
It's
there's a
standing
problem.
in water, clear up over the culvert, going back through it.
So we're replacing the culvert,
We're replacing it.
and the
So-
homeowner doesn't want us to
So
replace it.
like Dan said from Stark County, he says, we'll get it surveyed for you. He says, you can work anywhere inside that survey line. If we have to put dredge pumps down in there to suck the water up out so we can get the bed fixed and get the pipe in there, he says, we're allowed to
I don't
blow
think
that
the
water
residents,
on
I don't
it.
think the residents against the culvert. He wants us to fix his land.
Yeah,
He's not against the
We can't.
culvert.
this is so silted in right
No.
here.
The culvert's
The
gonna put
problem
more
is
water.
the
on.
culvert's sitting in full of water.
Sure.
Right.
It's underwater.
You're not.
Because this
you're not
is all
solving
silted
it.
in as high as what the culvert is.
No, we're gonna just put more water on.
Right.
Right, you're-
No, it's gonna sit full of water.
It's gonna still sit full of water, and it's a
So,
shame
are
because
we
it's
doing-
always gonna be a problem for us.
Are we doing a bigger culvert because it's sitting in water, or can we?
No, it's gonna be
How-
30-inch. That's big.
How far down below the road surface is it?
It's down a good foot and 2 foot better.
Can you raise it
To the
up?
top.
You can't
Can we raise
raise
the
it.
culvert
no.
up?
No, you don't think you wanna do that.
No, the gentleman that owns this parcel does not own land around. It's a single piece of parcel. He lives
Just that
someplace
single
else.
right here where you see it, Brian.
Okay, because there's a
Right
driveway
there,
that
right
goes to
there.
this back parcel behind Scott.
Right that
There's
parcel
a driveway
number
that
now,
goes back.
Stu, right
It's
there.
actually, there's a right of
Huh?
This is the parcel number.
I got it already.
Oh, you did?
I have it on my records here, and we're gonna
Okay.
send that to Dan, so he has that to come out, and he'll do both sides of the road, he said.
Okay.
Yeah, because what you view there for
Because we're
right
gonna
away
be on
can
both
be off
sides
by
of the
quite a
road.
bit. You want them to survey it.
Yeah, and they don't charge us anything for coming out there and doing it.
So after the conversation with the resident, did you explain to him that we're going to put a culvert in?
I
there?
have not, well, I told him, I said, we have to put a culvert in there because everything's eroding on both sides, and that's why you can see
You can
these
see
dark spots
Yeah.
You
here.
can see it.
That's what I've been putting in with the Durapatcher, building it back up because it keeps breaking down.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
That's why he wants to get that done prior to doing a road.
We're gonna fix, yeah, we're gonna chip and seal this road,
Are
because this
you-
road is a busy road,
Do you
and it
need
needs
any,
done this year.
do you need any motions on that, or are you just giving us an update?
Well, I just wanted to give you guys an update here, let you know
That's fine.
what
You
me
don't-
and Brian's been working on to find out what we can do and
You
what we
got your
can't do.
culvert covered from Marlboro, so we don't need to cover.
Yes,
Okay,
that's,
That's covered.
the 60 feet is gonna be 30 here and 30 over on Slade.
Where's the guy's house at?
But
He lives on 44 across from
Just a
Valhalla.
vacant parcel.
Stu, you might have additional prices, don't you have to have that
It's just a
Parker?
vacant
Yes.
It was
But
storage.
Yeah.
I know that's another thing.
That's another thing I wanted to tell you guys. I forgot about that. I have it over there somewhere. Andy Parker quoted us for $1,600 for each spot.
For each spot of what?
Both culverts on
To
Biddy and
two
on
those.
Slater, coming in, digging it out, getting the bed right. He comes in and digs it out. We use our trucks to haul the 304 or whatever we're using to put back in there. And he'll have his road roller there and everything. So when we get it all tamped in with the gas powered tamper and everything, go after blacktop and put about 4 inches of blacktop right back up. So it's level with the road. He said it might not even be that much. He said if everything goes good, he said it would only be maybe $1,400 for doing each one of them. That's pretty cheap.
Did you get another price to Petros or someone?
Nope,
I mean, do we have to get more than one price? That's what I'm asking.
no, because it's not over what is it, Brian? Over 40?
No, you go $50,000.
$50,000
And
before you have
we've
to
used
bid
him
it.
before. He's the guy that did our.
He did our cemetery. Very, very good job and cheap.
Here's the rough stuff, Stu, if you want to look that over. I know the only thing you need is asphalt pricing, I think, on that.
Yeah, right here. Okay.
But you didn't have asphalt.
Yeah, I don't have asphalt and I don't have 304. He said it'd probably take roughly about 40 ton, 20 each at both places, each place for the 304 to go back in around the pipe. And then it'll probably take roughly 5, maybe 5 ton blacktop at each spot.
How did they get the 304s back underneath? They shoot them under there, or
What do you mean, shoot them?
are you not filling them around the culvert the whole way underneath the road with the?
Yeah, I said rip it out, put a bed in there, right?
Okay.
Underneath where the pipe sits back down on top of, and then go back in around yet with the 304.
Yeah, how do you get it back under there, the 304? You're shoveling it under?
No, you rip the old pipe out of there.
I know,
shut
but
the
you're going
road
around the
down.
outside of the pipe, aren't you?
Huh?
I'm thinking the distance between the top of the pipe and the road. How much gap's gonna be up there?
It depends on how it is when he digs it out. I mean, that's a 30-inch, well, it's a 30-inch culvert, but cement, that's an old cement one, so it's about that thick. So you're looking at about probably 36 to 40 inches wide, the outer diameter of it. So the hole there is gonna be probably at least 4 to 5 feet wide.
Stu, do you need approval for Andy right now, or do you want to wait until we get the asphalt prices in and do it all one time?
I mean, that's up to you guys how you want to do that.
And just to clarify, Andy's bringing in his excavator.
He's bringing his excavator,
He's
the
bringing in his
roller.
roller.
Yeah.
We're supplying the trucks to bring the material and stuff in.
So he's bringing excavator and roller, and he's there with you doing it.
And you're getting the material too, right?
We're getting the material.
And we're using his excavator because ours isn't big enough. We're
Yeah.
using his excavator because ours isn't big enough. Okay.
When I did one of those big cement ones, oh boy, where was that at? I ended up having to take our big backhoe out, and it was all I could do to lift those
What are you
sections
doing with
out,
the
put them on the
cement?
trailer.
What are you doing with the broken up cement?
Most likely he can get them out of there without it. Well, it might crumble though. It's so old. We usually take it back here. I mean, we can't.
Mhm.
Depends on if it's all broke up. We still usually just put it on the trailer if you can get them out of there in one piece, 2 pieces. I think it's 2 or 3 sections. I think it's 2.
The ends are broke off now, that's why the roads.
Well, I ain't saying that. It's just so much water there. It's working on that and keeps eroding that up around there.
Yeah, but I don't
Above
understand
it.
what a new culvert's gonna fix this problem.
Well, so it don't collapse.
Because
we get the road done.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna get it back in there and pack it in really hard. I mean, when Andy's there, I'm glad we have that 1s and 2s up here, the big stuff. When we go to do the bed, we might put some bigger stuff in the bottom there, especially on that east side where it's going onto this kid's property.
But if the cement culvert isn't broke now,
It's sinking and separating. You got to get in there and do
it's sinking
something.
because it's water.
I know, but you try to lift that or do anything, it's gonna break.
Oh, I agree with that.
That's what I had a problem with these other ones
But
that I've tried to
at
replace.
some point, sometime, somebody's gonna deal with this drainage
Well,
problem.
I know,
It's-
but there's nothing we can do,
It
Randy.
needs to be done now.
Well,
It's
If you
not gonna,
don't,
it's not gonna wait.
I don't wanna fix the road and then come back in and dig it up.
I'm gonna tell you, if you leave a waterlogged culvert and you chip and seal over it, you're gonna work on it. Water's waterlogging the whole area.
That's why we have to use sump pumps at least to get it water out of there so you can set the bed in there, right?
all right, I understand it, but the next rain, it's gonna be full of water again.
You're right. This is gonna be a problem.
Where are you planning on pumping the water back to this guy's place? That's
Yeah, right on his property.
He's already mad.
Yeah,
Well,
county told
well,
us.
no, you can't go with the regular.
It's gotta go the way the
It's
flow
gotta
is.
go with the flow. I
In
get
your
it.
opinion, how far does it have to be dug to make it drain right?
See this right here where you see this line here?
Yeah.
Starting right there is where the tall cattails are. About 150 feet from there to here is roughly what that is. From that point, it kind of drops off and goes down through here. We were hoping he would let us at least dig from here to where that drop off to get the water away and let it flow out of there.
Right.
This is so silted in from here to here.
Who did you talk to at the county? Jason?
We talked to Jason, Mason. They said when we called up there, they're changing a whole bunch of people around positions. Now we're gonna have to,
I feel bad for the guy. I mean, look at that parcel. It's 50% marsh.
Well, I don't care what it is, but at some point, somebody's gonna, it has to be
Right.
cleaned, it has to be fixed.
It's gotta be. And
And-
then what happens at the end
It's
is,
private property.
what happens at the end of his parcel? It goes
All
into
right,
a creek and
you're gonna have a bad spot in the road if you leave it waterlogged.
No,
Right,
I
right.
agree with you, but it's private.
Brian,
property.
can you go down to the right
They
side of that
sign waivers
parcel
off
for
of
me?
it, or I don't
So
know.
Stu, what happens by that building?
See that right there?
That's a creek.
that's a creek.
That's
That's where it's
that's a
supposed to
dugout
eventually
creek.
get to.
So once it gets there, it gathers in the creek and then goes
It
along its way.
goes, yeah, it's on its
Got
way.
it. Got it.
But like I said, where you can see that difference in that color right there, right here, light, real light, and then it gets like
Yeah.
spotted darkness here, that's where it kind of drops off. That's why me and Andy walked clear down to that and
Right
looked it
now, it's a
over.
marsh. You put a nice creek down through your property, then you got a water feature.
Maybe Andy needs to give him a price on digging that creek down.
He won't pay anything. He says, if you guys will dig it and dig the ditch for me, he says, you can come on my property. If not, he says, you ain't touching it. He was very rude about it.
That's what I'm saying, it's
And I
private
just,
property.
stayed nice and calm and just said, well, okay. I said, I'll
right.
talk with the trustees about it.
Stu,
All right.
do you think on this side, on the west side of this, does that water just flow when you have rain, or does it stay wet, like coming down through? Is there springs over and all that?
There could be a wet spot right there, Brian. I don't know.
Because I went
That's
by
all
there.
farm field. It all tapers right down there to
I
that
went by
culvert.
there before in
got
July
this
and all
line.
this, and this is
Like,
dried up.
What's
Other
the
than a
guy's
little
name that
puddle
owns the
right there.
ground?
Like there's a little.
There's
puddle.
water. There's water
What's the
standing.
No, I mean on
What's
the,
the
on the
guy's
west
name that
side.
owns the ground?
So it's still usually full, clear underneath through the pipe.
So there's got to be a spring feeding it, because if
Well,
it's
it
not
could be.
raining.
Stu, what's the guy's name that owns the ground?
Todd Williams.
Do you have a phone number for him?
Yes.
See,
330.
Right there.
Store since he could.
Well, that's
Crystal
his
store.
address.
Crystal store.
The phone number we had, a 488 number, no longer
Don't
working
say
number.
that,
But I won't. I'll give it to him.
All right, let's keep moving, guys. We'll do the we'll
You want
do
this
the
back?
Parker approval when we have asphalt prices. All right, moving along to the, back to the agenda, salt shed updates.
All right. He was, let's see, let me get down. Wall guy's supposed to be in here on the 4th, April 4th or 5th, so next week or this week, they should be out setting pins and digging footers. I tried to get a hold of him today, I didn't get a hold of him, but he told me and Stu on Friday that the wall guy is supposed to be here on the 5th.
Okay.
He's claiming it'll be done by the end of April.
Okay. Got it. Oh, there you go. There you are. Okay, road salt purchase for 2022-23 and 23-24 season. How much salt are we gonna buy?
900 tons each year is what we need to put on that sheet. Then you're at 720 on the low side, and you can go up to 1,200 ton on the high side.
So say that again, 900, you can go
900 for each
720 on the
season.
low. and you could do it on the high?
Yeah,
All right.
up to 1,200. You can actually go higher than that, but
Yeah.
the goal is to have a salt shed up there so Stu can put a place in order, whether it's this year or into next year, and we can budget in to do whatever we're needed to fill that up. I mean, we always talked about it when you all were doing it. I go back and I'm looking at minutes and all, and you're talking about a building that can hold up to 1,200 ton, even bigger. It depending, you won't know until you actually do it, but it looks like, you know, maybe you only need to put 700 or 800 ton in it this year. Move some of the old over, if there is that much left. If there's 100 ton or 150 ton up there, you just move that over. When the compiler unit's there, you can use the compiler to help you mix it in and put it on top of what you got or whatever. If the salt shed's sitting there. Remember, trustees, after July 31st, salt goes up, and we don't know what it is until Stark County Engineers works that price up. Right now, it's at 65.88 a ton delivered. With a compiler, you add on $3. I think Stu had a price for the outfit there. They
Yeah,
might
the
be a little
compiler
cheaper.
was, yeah, it's cheaper than going with the, with
Cargill's was
Cargill's.
6, I think.
It's expensive, they're more expensive. I talked to Chuck that delivers our salt through DRS. They're the ones that Canton uses them. They're much cheaper.
So Brian, if we say we are taking 900 tons a year, where does that year start?
It starts on August 1st because
Okay.
the last year
Yeah.
ends on July
You have
31st.
to usually have it in by July.
So August 1st until 2023, July 31st.
So we couldn't take the 900 ton till at least August 1st then?
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't for right now purchase. We could
Right.
still purchase off of this year's
Yeah.
deal if we
Yeah.
needed to. If we get if the shed's built
But
and
we're-
cures out and all, we
But
could
we
get it.
don't
before
wanna-
that time.
Have the bulk of it put in there till August 1st.
Or at least as
You would-
long until it's had its time to cure, because it takes.
No, if
if
it's
you-
not till August 1st, it won't be on our, if we say we're taking 900.
Right.
We
You
want to get
wouldn't,
it.
you wouldn't want to buy more than what your minimum is, the 80% less.
Yeah, we're not, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not 900, we're
That's
gonna
all
be.
you need.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't want to, well, that's my question. Like, I know it's going to snow. What if it doesn't snow? We buy 720.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't want, you don't want to.
We buy 720 no
We
matter
don't want to
what.
buy
By
it till that
80%.
date of when it counts on next year.
Right.
We buy it. If we
Put
put,
it
eight, if
on
we
that.
put,
We'll have
put
the salt
900 on
shed
that
before
page,
then.
it,
We want to
no,
put
it
in
doesn't
there till
snow
it counts.
next year.
Right.
We buy 720 no matter what, because that's 80% of 900.
Right,
Yeah, we buy 720 no matter what.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, because you put 900 on that page, you got to buy 720.
I know that, but I ain't gonna just go with
You
720.
guys got to realize.
Your average across the last 10 years is 700 tons.
I know
That
but
time
I don't
frame
care.
is over 2 years, trustees. You're gonna buy 900 or 720 times 2.
Right.
You are definitely gonna go through at least buying that. You got a shed that you can keep it in.
That's right.
Right.
You got
Shed
it.
to
That's
keep
the
it in
whole
now.
idea of having that shed.
You keep salt year over year, you're gonna have a rock.
Yeah, you don't want to keep it.
We keep it over here now, what we got up there, 200
It's
tons.
stuff that comes in this time of year. If you keep salt, you keep that first bin up there, leave it up there until next year, and then the following year, and see
Why
what
are
it's
we
like.
buying, why are
It'll
we
be a
building a
rock.
salt shed if that's the thinking behind it? You want to have it here, so you got it. You're going to have a light year.
Well,
right
have
there.
you-
Well,
That-
and it's a fine line, you guys have. Yeah, obviously, if we buy 720, we put in there.
The
that's
only
fine.
thing that gets hard crusted on that, and it can go for a full year, is out front where the weather gets on it. I've been here for how many years and I've dealt with that. Nobody else has went up there and done that where it freezes and gets rain on it and weather on it. It's the front about half a foot. If it really gets a lot of weather on it, it'll get hard. That's right. But not back in the bin farther.
Brian, are you saying the agreement says
Moisture can
that
get
it's a
into it if you
2-year
have a lot of
commitment?
damp years.
That's what you're looking at, trustees. You're looking at the season that starts August 1st of this year
Mhm.
to next year, and just say July 31st to July 31st of 2023. Then the new year starts in July at the August 1st of 23 all the way to 24. You're talking a 2-year period of time. You could go 700 and 700, just say it that way, but I say 900. The
No,
idea is to get that
Right.
shed.
Well,
filled.
I think I
Fill the
understand.
darn thing up.
You got
I-
$60,000 I've been sitting on that we need to put in there to have it. That's the whole idea. Then you budget it out. And then if you have a good year where you don't use a lot of salt, you back off on the next year. and you try to get as close to that 720, but if you had to buy it, you got room to put it in there. You got a building up there can hold possibly 1,200 ton. That if you had to,
14 probably.
and then you back way off on the next year and then use it all up for a whole year.
But we're still committed the next year in 23, August 1st, we have to take at least a minimum of 720, right?
At least a minimum, but you
Okay.
could do that throughout the whole year. You could have trucks come in here and just bring in a
Yeah.
little bit if you had to. You don't have to bring it all in at one
Right.
time.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's see some building going up before we,
We have to do it before April 1st.
But they wanted that so that, because they get a.
well, I
get
think
all
our
the-
commitment's fine, we know.
Yeah,
Right.
they can get, they gotta get their,
I'm
like
good with
Jax and
that.
everybody in there.
Yeah, what we've done.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we commit to 900 each year for the next 2 years for salt, the Stark County engineers.
Trustee Pugh, second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Because we're gonna turn that commitment in.
Yeah. Do we need to sign that?
You can always get more. They ain't gonna say nothing about buying more. It's not having
No,
enough.
you
but
don't
what
have
you-
to. We just
what
gotta
it's for,
turn it in.
like,
It comes to my office, I give it to Stu and you guys look over. Usually we figure out based on our average, and I have those numbers on our average. We only had 1 year that we only had to buy 300 ton. The rest of the time, we're always buying almost, 1 year we bought almost 1,400 ton.
Right.
The average is about 750. I think, it's 780 is what we average year to year. If you go over a 5-year window of time.
Okay.
All right, updates on the residence yard repair on Duple.
Jim Beck was out and pulled all the sod and everything back up into the ruts and tamped them down. He's just letting that dry out now before he comes back and uses the big tiller, 3-point tiller behind it and bring in topsoil and everything and spread over top of that.
And trustees, you asked me to talk to Atarma, which I did. And the way this is, think of the mailbox or the basketball hoop. I let Stu kind of know that we should treat these as the same way. When we have something like this happen and we get called out, whether we take out a mailbox, we hit our guys, anything that can happen, we're supposed to notify them right away as like a claim. It's not like we had a contact claim, but we make the claim right then, and it's okay. I handled this. But what they do is they reach out and talk to that landowner first. Atarma does that just to see if they have any homeowners or stuff there. And then they start negotiating like, okay, we're gonna pay them directly, or I ask them to pay Jim Beck the bill directly. And we haven't got that all done yet, but that is in a working process right now.
Okay.
All right, anything else for the road? Seeing nothing, let's move on to zoning report.
No.
Thank you.
So there have been no issues permitted since our last meeting. We've got some phone calls about getting some done though. I did talk to somebody, they contacted me about trash on Argyle. They've been putting their trash bags out by the road because the trash cans blew over throughout the winter and everything. So I just sent them a nice letter asking them to put them in the trash cans because there have been animals out there digging them. So that's all been cleaned up and resolved. Over on Indian Run, they had those trash bags piled beside and under the camper there. Those are either in the dumpster or in trash cans outside that camp. Other than that, there hasn't been really any change. Next meeting for the commission is the 18th of April.
Did you get a chance to contact Lucy Begg?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the commission's last meeting. We used the consultant, Aaron Stoll, his firm, and it was on the layered zoning that we worked on. And he came back with the results from the survey. What was it? How many people? I forget how many he said took.
43 people, I believe.
Yeah, in the 40s took the survey. And it wasn't really advertised to anywhere, but it was on our website for other people to go into.
There's the numbers there. I mean, I think you all have it on your, that's his report he gave to you. You sent in, I put it, it says,
Yeah,
can you,
45
45
stakeholders there
yeah.
who identified.
yeah, 45 stakeholders who identified, and that gives a breakdown.
Yeah, so there's results of the survey, and then he came with the committee, what his recommendations was for the layered zoning. And the committee, they worked for quite a long time on different things back and forth, and decided for our community, a lot of the comments was, we don't want to lose our rural feeling, our rural atmosphere. So his recommendation was that we limit the size of buildings so that we can't get like an Amazon supercenter, which is acres and acres. So that, and we haven't determined what that is yet. So it'd be like a square footage, like no buildings can go up over so many, like 400 square feet or whatever. That's not the right number. What did he say? It was 100,000, I think, is what we talked about, square feet. So that number hasn't been determined yet, but that's the thought, that they're going to go that way. He said at the same time you're doing this, you can also identify if you have any areas that are not in the corridors that of the highways that we identified, that you can add a specific parcel on to be included in layered zoning if you wanted it to be. We all had kind of mixed feelings about that.
I think there was some confusion really about how they would do the, just seeing, because they were outside of the area they were looking
Yeah,
at.
you gotta be careful, because that, in fact, becomes spot zoning.
Well, he
If you're
said
picking
that's what I
if you're picking
questioned.
parcels.
Well, I questioned him on that. All the parcels will be identified in the layered zoning, and so you can identify additional parcels to go in there that are in the corridor that you're talking about.
They still have to be approved through your committee, because you're,
It does.
they're not gonna get full reign of whatever they want. They still have to go through the committee for the layered zoning. So you
Right.
still have control
But
of
you
it.
can only do it when he married. He said you're including at least 20 parcels.
I think at least 10.
Okay.
Was it 10? I thought it was 20, but because all the layered zoning, we're gonna have more parcels than that that's included in
sure.
there. If you wanted to add more, the committee said, we're not sure if we want to do that, but it was an option. He wanted to make sure I mentioned it to the trustees to see what you had an interest in. Other than that, everything else sort of fit in line with just our regular business zonings that we already have. The only thing they wanted to do was limit the max that you could do in those areas so it doesn't get out of control. So if you guys are good with that, or if you want any suggestions,
Yeah, that sounds about.
the things that we don't want is to put in anything that's hazardous waste. We don't want to have anything that's going to pollute, those type of things. And
Yeah.
try to build in more, they're going to try to build in parameters that requires more green space around it, so it keeps there's room for trees and things like that to keep it more rural looking.
It scares people, but you still have plenty of control
Yeah,
of what you allow in and out. So if 6 people want to put car lots, and you don't want 6 car lots in a row, you're gonna say these are like businesses and we don't want that. We want to keep a rural status. Like you still can have control amongst the layer zoning. It just makes it quicker, gets the process.
yeah. Well, it's whoever owns the parcel, what they want to do with it. I mean, we're not doing anything with it. We're just
Right.
giving them an
The
option.
only thing that I wonder how much these people really understand is because when you try and keep all that business out, it costs the property owner more. Your property taxes go down if you get more business in.
Yes, it does, which we don't have any business, which is why we're trying to make.
Yeah,
this
right.
work.
So, you just gotta be careful.
Yeah. You only get taxed on the use of your property though. So if you are in that layered zoned area where we're gonna label parcels, You're only being
You're taxed
taxed
on your
on
use. That's right.
residential unless you're gonna use it for a business.
If you have a layered zoning and you're in business layered zoning, you're still just a residential, you're taxed on just
Correct.
residential. Yes.
Correct.
You're not taxed on, yeah.
No, so it's just gonna give them some more options and
Yeah.
freedom.
I'm good with that.
I'm good. I don't, you understand it better than I do. You spend a lot more time on it.
So, I mean, I think
Do we
it'll be
need a
good for
motion
our
or do we
community.
need a?
We don't.
Okay.
He's gonna do a rough draft and make the language fit our zoning book of how it would fit in there. And then he'll get that back to the commission to review and make suggestions and changes. So once we get that back, we could share that document with you guys to look at, to see if there's anything you know. The only thing that he asked is if you wanted other parcels. One that came to mind was back when the guy on 44 had that issue. I mean, so that would be like, if we wanted that to be included, we could make that. Eventually 44 is gonna go. Right now, we're doing it on 172 and Route 30 together at the same time. And that was the consultant's recommendation. We can adjust the rules for 30 to be a little different than 172. But he said it's cheaper and better if you just do it at the same time.
Gotcha.
So I don't know that it's beneficial to try to do 44. Once we get that framework, I think the
Then
committee
you
can
know
come
what you're
back and
doing.
do it.
Yeah. Good.
So,
All right. Thank
so
you.
we are getting our money's worth.
Great. All right.
Did he, by the way, say anything about when he's billing anything? 'Cause
He did it.
I haven't received anything yet.
Like him.
I just wondered.
Shows up and doesn't send a bill.
We've just been meeting on Zoom. He said he'll come in person and I project him onto the big screen and everybody sees him up there. But if he comes in person, then we have to pay his travel fees and hotel. So it's saving us a
It
lot.
was really expensive if he came.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot cheaper to zoom in.
Yeah, so we've just been Zooming.
Okay, anything else for zoning?
That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Nothing in old business, it looks like. Can we bump to new? Start Township Association list for membership renewal.
Yes, trustees, I had this, just these sent out. I got a copy here from last year. Normally your fees, for example, were $60 per our active members, $15 for associate or their spouses. That fee now is $80 per active members, and the active members, mean trustees or fiscal officer, would fall into that $80 per person. That's $320. The new affiliate or member, be like an administrator, police, fire, zoning, road, or parks. Those are $35. And for example, last year that would have been like Stewie, Mary, and
Ryan.
yeah. Let me just check. I got the names here. Look. Well, we had Sue. We had Sue on there. Stu, Sue, and Mary.
Yeah, I
were
don't
on
think
there.
Wow.
Ryan was not on there, but those were on there. And then if you had spouses, that was 15. The spouses now fall under the former members, officials, county elected, and employees or spouses is 25.
Okay.
So the ones that would come from the family member, like a spouse, you could still do what we did in the past where you write the check directly to them and I can put it in the envelope with
Okay.
whatever you approve here tonight. But your total, if you go with the four, us four elected and then 3 of the affiliate members, is $425. They're asking by May 31st to have this, but they said, please send soon as possible if you can.
Trustee Varian moves to pay $425 to the Township Association, Stark Township Association, for membership dues. This will include 7 total people.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So $25 check made to the Association for Spouses.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, correspondence, grassroots clippings, should have it in your box, maybe.
Yeah. And the Stark County Health Department annual report, I didn't take that off. You all discussed that at the last.
You did
Okay.
that last time.
Anything else for the good of the order, folks?
Griffith makes a motion to pay bills and adjourn.
USA.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right. Good work. gotta go get a part-time job to spend all his money. It's great.
I'm retiring, by the way.
He needs to be limited time.
It's my last meeting. Did fun.
Brian, take care of all that money.
Take care of it.
I should have done that. It's still shut down.